Hi, in this particular video of mine, now I would be focusing more on the Indian theories of language as it has been discussed in Indian philosophy rather than the Western philosophy. Now, here you would see, what are the different theories that are being discussed, how one Bharatiya Darshan school is different from the other school of thought. We will see all those things. Now, what kind of problems are taking place and why those problems are, what are the things that are being taken up in the history of Indian philosophy of language itself. So going forward, I would be focusing on the few videos wherein I would be discussing only and only about the Indian theories of language. Given this, in the earlier video you must have seen and observed, I discussed about the various things that were available to us and what are the various questions that were raised in the domain of Indian philosophy of language. Now, after that, if you have understood those set of questions, let's go further and see how these things are developed and how each school is differing from the another one before I can step in and start off with the text given to us by Vishwanath Bhatt, especially in his treatise which is called as Nyaya Siddhanta Muktavali. Now here you will see that language, Indian theories of language. Now, I'm going to read line by line. That is my style, and you know that this is how I prefer, so that you do remember each and everything. Is much debated topic in Indian philosophy. There is a clear concern with it in the Vedic text, which we have already checked out, where efforts were made to describe links between earthly and the divine reality in terms of the etymological links between the words. Now, you see, when we are giving importance, now, in one of my videos, I did mention about what are the various theories and what are the sources of knowledge and why Praman Shastra and what are the varieties of pramas that we have got. Now, if we have understood all those things, then definitely, yes, the entire thing we have to start off from the Vedic period. Now, first and foremost, definitely, yes, we need to cover them and see what is the base that they have made for the valid sources of knowledge. If we are able to understand those schools in a very short form, then understanding the text that has been prescribed to us in our syllabus will be much more easier. So here you will see that there is a clear concern with it in the Vedic text, where the efforts were I should say, described looking at the words and the way. And even if you look at the Western philosophy, we had a pre-Socratic philosopher, Heraclitus, who stepped forward and introduced the Greek word logos, which was equivalent to what we nowadays call it as word. Now, though there are various interpretations for that word itself, however, majority of the time we focus and say that, yes, that's the word. Now, if you start off with those kind of topics and concepts which were introduced, then if you come back to the Indian philosophical text, it would be very difficult to digest, how they are talking about these things. The earliest surviving Sanskrit grammar, Panini's book Adhyayi, 8 chapters, so he calls it as Ashta Adhyayi, and it's also not very easy text to understand. One needs to spend some time, and even if you just have a glance at that book, you will understand the intricacies and the subtleties that he is involved into understanding it. Now, this book was dated 350 BC. Okay, and this one, they say that gives us the philosophical reflections on language that was found in Patanjali's great commentary on Panini's work, which was called as Mahabhashya. And Mahabhashya also, I had a chance to look at it, and it was written in Sanskrit. So I never touched the translated or the one with the commentary. So I thought, okay, let me have a look, and then I understood. This cannot be understood just like that. You need to spend some time and then go ahead. Now, so Patanjali, and then we have got Panini's work together. Okay, these are the two classical texts. Anybody who is focusing on language will definitely focus on these two texts. After that, stepped in the 5th century grammarian, Bhartrhari. Now, he was known for his book Vakyapadiya. Now, if you look, and what is it? It is the book itself is being titled, translated as Treatise on Sentences and Words. So we can understand. Now, Bhartrhari again spent a lot of time just to give us the introduction and to understand what is the relationship or the association between the sentences and the words. Okay, now here he is developing a system, and he came up with a conceptual concept which is called as spota theory. Spota. Spota in Sanskrit is, I don't know if you have seen, like in Andhra, we have a flower, Kanakamra, which is of that yellow or it is orangish flower. If you look at those seeds, they are, when they turn brown and they're completely dried, and they are stored for some time. Now, the moment they come in contact with water or the moisture, the way they burst, that is called as spota. It cracks. That's what I would say. And that's how he says that is the linguistic entity which is distinct from the word sounds that Bhartrhari tries to convey its meaning. So he says that there's a lot of things that he discusses in his book, and we will see, in case you're interested, you can look up. So the issues that we can look, coming up with these three thinkers or philosophers, Panini on one hand, then we had Patanjali, then lastly Bhartrhari. All the three focused on three main things for us. What are they? One, it would be the search for the minimal meaningful units. Number two, the ontological status of the composite linguistic units. In other words, the relationship between semantics and syntax of the words. And this is where we need to focus on these two issues, which are present in any philosophical discussion on language or the linguistic research, you can say, or even in the discussions when we are picking up with these things. So I'm going to stop here with this short discussion on the three popular thinkers of philosophy of language, and let me come up with the second one. Till then, thank you and take care. Bye.